Hi, here's some pointers about how to hold your guitar. Looks like I need to scooch a little bit. Sometimes students come and have a really rough start, but a lot of it is just how they're holding their guitar. I'm going to show you, excuse me, standing also, and I'm going to show you some classical style. So I will say often there's not just one correct way to do this, and every body is different, and there's some principles that we can use to help you find a good way for you to hold your guitar. But I'm going to start with the most common thing you would probably see if you're playing rock or folk or country, is just sitting and holding the guitar on your right leg. This curvy usually goes on your right leg. And something that happens a lot is when you're new at it, you want to see where your fingers are landing, which you can make a policy of not having to look. Some people like to just feel and learn by feel, which is awesome. That works for you. But most people want to look at first. And when you're sitting up with good posture and holding your guitar correctly, it's actually hard to see right here. And a lot of people will put their guitar down like this, and that makes it hard on your left hand, and it's not very good for your right hand either. Or they might slouch, which isn't good. So I'm going to suggest, you can hear a lot about posture. First, start with, don't worry about the guitar yet, just make sure you got a good hold on it. And you don't want to be sitting on a couch, and if you're a beginner, not on the floor. But you want to be sitting on a firm chair near the front of the chair, not all the way back. I'm on a stool here. And you have bones down here that you're sitting on, or you should be sitting on. They're called sits bones. Well, some people call them sits bones. And for some of us, they're easier to feel than others, depending on how much padding you have down there. But when you're sitting on something hard, it's tempting to sort of arch your back and lean forward, so you're sitting on really resting on your back of your thighs in front of your sits bones. But if you straighten your back a little bit and you feel your weight on those bones, there's one on each side, and you want that balanced. Crossing your legs is not so great. Some people can get away with it, but let's just start with this and see if that works. So get balanced on your sits bones, and if you've ever done anything to train you to have good posture, do that now, and just feel yourself, balanced and upright, like there's a string holding you up from the top of your head, or like a ballerina if you've done yoga, dance, karate, anything that just feel that good posture. And what we want to do is we want to stray from that as little as possible. Sometimes we will have to stray from that, but when we do stray from that, we want to come back to this good posture. So I have good posture. My guitar is almost exactly vertical. It's leaning, this would be exactly vertical, and I lean it back just a little bit. And if you have to, right now, I actually can't see here very good. But if I have to see, I want to keep my guitar upright, and I can just lean over and look. Briefly, I don't want to play like this a lot because it's bad posture and I'll get a kink in my neck. But if you have to look, just lean over and look, but you don't have to look forever. And then you can sit up again once you get your fingers where they need to be. But don't get in the habit of turning the guitar so that you can see your fingers. So that is sitting, and just get used to the feeling of that during prep week. Most people sit when they're beginning, but you can also stand. Some people like standing a lot. I'm going to cut off my neck. I have a strap on. Don't ever rely on your strap to hold your guitar up. Oh, actually, that's how I got this little hole here. My daughter didn't know. She was on a gravel road, and it let loose and went crashing down. So that's more about that story another day. So the cool thing about standing, and especially if, sorry about that glare, especially if you're standing, you probably don't want your neck horizontal. You want the neck pointing up. And actually, the more up your neck is, the easier it is for your left hand, the more similar it is to classical style. And you will notice rock and roll players, they might be playing like this, and then when they get to something more challenging, they move it because that makes it more playable when you have your neck tilted up like that. And then, of course, the cool thing about classical position is it definitely makes playing easier. And a lot of times, if you find the things you're playing to be difficult, classical position is a good way to start, even if you don't want to do that forever. And the cool thing is, once it's just kind of like a leg up. It makes it easier, and once you learn how to play in classical position, then you can switch to the other positions, and you've already learned how to play the guitar, and it's not as hard later on to switch to the other position. I have a footstool that's made for guitars. It's adjustable. There's all kinds of different ones you can get. You could just use a box or a coffee can or something. And I'm putting my left foot on the stool and then the guitar on my left leg. When I was a classical guitar student, this was the way we played. And then for, everybody had their different preference as far as how high the stool is or how high the guitar is. And there's other contraptions you can get where you have suction cups and things stick to your guitar and your legs are both flat, but your guitar is like this. The reason classical guitar players use this position is because it facilitates, facilitate means to make easy, it facilitates playing the guitar. And they play the most physically challenging things that there are. So, and that's why they can do it, because they hold their guitar this way. Something I've seen recently, I can't really recommend it because I can't teach it, but I've just observed some people playing even more like this. It's almost more like playing a cello. So, and those are some very good classical guitar players, and that's interesting to me, but I can't say a lot about it other than there's not just one correct way. So that's classical. Let's see, and we did standing. Yeah, and if you have any questions or problems, let me know, but experiment with that and just make sure you're comfortable holding your guitar in a way that feels comfortable and not awkward, and that if you have trouble seeing, you keep your guitar upright and just lean and look and then sit up straight again. See you soon. Bye.